Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Karmy B TV. It's your girl, Karmy B. Yes, another solo episode. This episode I feel like has been highly anticipated for those who know my personal brand and what I am doing currently as a career, which is what some would call nano influencing. So as a nano creator, it basically means that you have less than 10,000 followers across platforms. And I find myself being asked a lot by creators that have the same amount, less followers, or even more than me, how are you sustaining by having less than 10,000 followers? Is it even possible? Is it capped? What's really going on? So I kind of want to talk through it with you guys. And this is really for someone who is looking to get in the space as an influencer and you really think you got to have 10,000 followers to do so. I'm living proof that you really just do not. So I like to start out by saying you have to know your why. And I know that sounds cliche, but your why is the thing that keeps you going throughout your content creator journey, your career journey, whatever you may decide. It's really going to be that why. So ask yourself, am I in it to get money? Am I in it to build a personal brand? Am I in it to get more exposure? Do I want to build a community? Or is it all four? And I don't think there's anything wrong with it being all four, but you just need to know what's important. For me, I knew when I got into this nano creating space, when I moved to Dallas back in 2021, I knew I wanted to see some brand deals, yes, as a smaller creator, but more importantly, I wasn't doing it for a desired end. I was taking professional photos with my business, KBS Multimedia, that you now know about. And my best friend was just like, child, you taking all these pictures with these laptops and stuff. You want to deal with Mac or something? Like, you probably should make a separate Instagram account and just post all the pictures that I style you in and tag the brands. Now, granted, back home, when we were back home doing this same thing, taking photos, we didn't do it intentionally. But something about moving to Texas kind of made us think maybe we should try to take this seriously. So I did what he said. I posted a picture, and it was actually a photo from my brand shoot with KBS Multimedia, and I tagged the brand. I was bold enough to just get in their DM, and I said, yeah, y'all got some partnerships? Can I work with y'all? It was literally something along those lines. There was no rhyme or rhythm to it. I had no rhyme or rhythm. I didn't know about the space. And to my surprise, they wrote back immediately, was like, yeah, we want to send you 3 pairs of shoes. I'm like, what? Send me 3 pairs of shoes? Okay. It can't be this easy, because I'm like many of you that may be watching this. A lot of people told me, and I heard, that you had to have a lot of followers to see success, to work with brands, to really matter. But I'm the type of person, I like to question the status quo, because what you're not going to do is tell me that I got to have something to get something else when I serve a God, like, you know, the God I serve, right? So anyway, they wrote me back, and they told me that, you know, they were going to send me shoes, and all I had to do was create content. But don't be like me. I didn't create the content. I got the shoes and I didn't create the content. I don't know why. I really don't know why. I just didn't do it. I didn't make it a priority, because at that time it still wasn't a job to me. So like I said, my first thing is to really know your why if you're coming in this space as a nano creator. And then also start off by treating it like a job. If you're not getting paid brand deals at first, many of us don't. It's okay. But if brands are sending you products, the very least that you could do, especially if you tell them you're going to do it, is create the content. And that's how you really get your proof of concept. So for me, that was the first brand that sent me, you know, items for products to actually pose with, but I didn't use it. I didn't stop though. I went on to actually just start looking at what I had at the house. And a lot of times when you get in this space, you don't have money. Like, you don't have a lot of extra money to go buying all these products that you may see your favorite influencers doing. But look around at what you got in your home and see how you can position that content. So when you know your why, you treat it like a job, start researching the actual brands that you want to work with, and see, do they work with creators? If they do work with creators, what type of content are those creators producing? Or if they don't work with creators and you just want to put yourself out there, see what type of content the brand is producing and see how you can mimic that yourself. So those are like the first few things that I did when I got in this space. It was a lot of research. I'm like, okay, I want to work with this brand. Let me go look and see how people are posing with this product. Okay, I know that it's important for me to get brand deals. So what's important? Like, if you're coming in for the money, let's cut to the chase. You're going to have to actually create quality content, like literally. Like, for me, I knew I didn't have the same collateral that a lot of my competitors had, which was a whole lot of followers, just a swarm of people that were waiting on their content to drop. But I knew since I was already creating content on a high level, I could at least give you this high quality content, right? That had to count for something. So like I said, if you're watching this and you're wondering like, there's nothing that I can do, don't listen to that lie. Don't even tell yourself. Don't have self-limiting beliefs about the influencing space or the nano creator space, because your account does matter. And I think for me, I came in it knowing my account matters, and it only mattered as much as I put in it. So I think sometimes people are like, well, I'm not really seeing results. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, are you posting consistently? Are you, engaging with brands? Are you pitching? Like, what are you actually doing to kind of show forth proof of concept to brands and even your community that you're worth that type of support and investment? Because whether you know it or not, people commenting on your stuff, that's an investment. People liking your stuff, that's an investment. It was something that when I came into this field, I thought would just be automatically given to me. Like, if you know me, you should like my stuff. But that's not really, that's not really what happens in this space. So yeah, I think as a nano creator, it's very important to know who you are and then also where you're trying to go. So for me, I always knew Karmy TV, this platform, was something that I wanted to, launch. So I was using my influencer platform to really build community. And that's the part that people want to skip over before they want to go straight to the money. And they don't want to talk about what's most important, which is the community, because these are going to be the people that grow with you as you go to different heights and levels within your influencing career. And what you don't want is for one day you start getting all these brand deals and stuff, and you just got crickets. Like ain't nobody saying nothing, because they like, well, wait, what? What's going on? When you start doing this, you want to bring people along the journey. And I think that's something that I try to do, and I try to tell other people to do, is like, be authentic, bring people along your journey, tell them what you're doing. When I started in influencing, I told them, y'all, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I don't know anything about being a nano influencer, an influencer, period, because I didn't really know about the term nano when I started. But I told them I didn't know anything about the space, being an influencer, but I wanted to see results. Like, I would follow my favorites online, and I'm like, I don't feel like I'm just any much different than them. Like, I know they make out a lot of followers, but I still feel like I'm giving that same energy. And that's just the mindset that I've always had creating. And that's what I would, tell you to do if you're starting in this space. Really look at yourself as your favorite creator. Too many times we looking up, we're not looking across, and more times than not, we're not even looking at ourselves, because when you don't look at yourself and what you have to bring to the table, you will think you're not worthy of brand deals. You will think you're not worthy of the community. You're not worthy of the likes, and your actions will play that out. So for me, I knew one day I would get a chance to work with brands. I didn't know how that would happen, so I started how I wanted to finish, and that was basically showing up consistently. Showing up every day as if I already had the 100,000 followers that I still don't have, even recording this content. But it doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. Another piece of advice I would give you is to really not fixate on the numbers. I think in such a, microwave society, we see a lot of our favorite creators who may have blown up overnight. And though that may be possible for many creators, it may not be your story. So you have to ask yourself, if I don't blow up overnight, is this something that I'm still willing to do? And if the answer is no, then maybe content creation isn't for you, because it's not really, social media itself isn't really a microwave, fast, return type of industry. You kind of really have to put the work in. And honestly, I would say that for any industry, people may tell you, like, well, even if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to school so many years to be a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, you got to pass so many tests. It's the same thing with social media. You have to look at it as like, okay, I want to see success here, and there's going to be a certain level of tests I have to pass. There's going to be a certain level of quizzes, certain levels of lessons, losses, all of the things that I have to learn in order to really, really show face in this space. So that would be my advice to any nano creator. I would also say, of course, not fixating on the numbers, but really look at yourself and treat it. I know a lot of times we put so much of our energy and so much of our time into our 9-to-5 jobs, and I'm not anti 9-to-5s at all, but I think what's most important is to, if you want to see success in this space, look at it as a full-time career. Like, look at it as something that you can really see and reap results from, because you really can. And when I started off, I really started to follow other creators that look like me, because a lot of times it was so hard to see myself in creators that had 100,000 followers, 1 million followers, it was hard for me to see myself in them because I'm like, where are the creators that are smaller that are doing what I'm doing on a high level? It wasn't many of us, but there were some out here, which is why I like to bring a lot of attention to this term nano creator, because not even a lot of people know what that is, and you don't even know your power. You don't know the power that you have being a smaller creator. A lot of times you probably didn't see your favorite creator at their beginning, or maybe you did. And how much more invested are you in their story because you did watch them from beginning to end? That's my advice to you. Look at yourself. Okay, I'm my own self's favorite creator, and I'm just at the beginning stages. It's ugly. It's not always pretty. We all know the algorithm sometimes is up and down, but I think for me, what I've realized is like, child, it's not my app. I don't own this app. I am just using this app, so I'm gonna do the very best I can to fall in line and not complain about it. I think a lot of times people, they don't give themselves enough time. Like, give yourself some time to actually see results. I was blessed enough to be able to land a 5-figure partnership with a brand my first year creating content. And that's no, kudos to me. It's really thank you, Jesus. And then secondly, it was a lot of the work that I put in as well. And I think a lot of times people don't get to that part. Like, you want the immediate gratification. You don't want to work. You don't want to put the time in that it really takes to see success. So my first 5-figure partnership, I had to negotiate. And I think a lot of times people may tell you as a nano creator, you don't have the right to negotiate, but I negotiated. I definitely negotiated. It was a nice contract. It was a nice company. I'd worked with them multiple times. And so that's why I say it's important to do the work before you do the work. But because I was already positioning my content, posing with content that I had at the house, doing all of those things, I was already kind of familiar with taking the content, taking high quality content. And then to go a step further, I wasn't scared to get in the brand's DMs. As I told y'all, the first brand, I was just like, hey, y'all got a partnership? I was not afraid to do that. And so from doing that multiple times, getting a little more, professional in my delivery for partnerships, I learned how to communicate with brands. I learned how to negotiate. And I like to say a lot of times, if you don't start, you don't know what you can streamline. So people are like, well, I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to say this. I didn't know either. And a lot of times it's not really a book or it's not really a seminar that anybody can teach you. It's really just you getting out there and doing it yourself. And so for me, I just did it myself. So I negotiated that 5-figure partnership. I went on to get other 4-figure partnerships as well. And what I learned from the journey is always ask for more. I don't care if you have 1,000 followers. And some may give me slack for that. Like, I don't care if you have 1,000. I don't care if you have 2,000 followers. Ask for more. Stand on it. If you get a no, it'll teach you what to do when you get that yes. And if you get a yes, you'll know next time to go a little higher on that rate. So really stand on business when it comes to knowing what your worth is in a space like nano influencing. And again, I have to emphasize the nano influencing because I sometimes feel like we're in our own world with nano creating, because the bigger creators, they got their brand deals, they got their community sold up. But nano creators, we really have to understand the space and understand our collateral and what we bring to the table so that we can just really get the money, get the community, and more importantly, build our personal brand. Because I feel like aside from getting brand deals and aside from building community, what's most important for me is that people know who Karmy B is. Like, I want you to know, my heart's posture. I want you to know I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And I want you to know I'm just out here getting it. I'm really trying to get it. So whichever avenue that I have to go through to express that, whether that's influencing, KBS Multimedia, Karmy B TV, regardless of what, I'm just trying to get the message out there. And that's why I go back to my first point by saying really understanding your why and what's most important to you when you get into this space. Because if a personal brand is important to you, we're going to be building a personal brand for the rest of our life. It takes a while to really get a personal brand locked and loaded. And then even after you get it locked and loaded, you're going to have to spend time really defining that personal brand. There may be times where you change it a little bit. Things may happen. Like right now, I'm single, no kids. I live in Dallas alone. One day, Lord's willing, this may be changing for me. I may be married. I may have children. And so the important thing about building a personal brand and starting where you are is that people can actually really grow with you. So even outside of nano creating and influencing, people can really show you where they are and where they're trying to go to. I say that to say it was important for me to make this one of my first episodes because many of you may be watching this and you may know me from being a nano creator. And I just think sometimes people can see you and they don't understand like what it takes to actually occupy a space. And I'm not a person to say like, child, are you sure you want to be like, I don't want to say it condescending, but I hope to bring light to what a nano influencer actually is. You're no different than your favorite mega influencer. The only thing that makes you guys different is the numbers. And when I say numbers, I mean following and the money. Of course they getting paid more money. They got more followers. Of course they have more followers. You know, they probably been doing it a longer time than you, or maybe they were blessed to go viral overnight. But I think that's the only thing that you need to know that makes you different from your competitor. A lot of times you can soak in where you are and be like, I'm never gonna get to where I'm supposed to be. But there's success, there's money, there's community. There are people right now waiting to hear your story and exactly where you are. So if that's something that you wanna do, if you want to see success in terms of personal brand, if you want to see success in terms of community, if you want to see success in terms of money, brand deals, numbers, you got to play the long game. Social media is the long game. Now, of course, the goal is not to be a nano creator forever. I mean, who would I be to sit here and say I'm okay with just having less than 10,000 followers for my entire career? But I have a healthy understanding of where I'm at. Like, I understand this is the beginning. Some people's beginnings last for 10 years. Some people don't get their break to their 40s. And so I always ask myself anytime I'm ready to give up, like, okay, Karmy, if it don't happen next year, you still in it or you done? And every time I tell myself, I'm gonna keep doing it because this is going to open up so many doors. So I think even in influencing in any career, you kind of gotta look at it, you gotta see what the eyes can't see. You gotta see past where you are. You gotta see past what people are telling you that you can do and be. Because if I just waited for people to tell me that you can't get brand deals until you got 10K, I'd never seen that 5-figure brand deal. If I would have waited to pitch a brand, I would have never got those 3 pairs of shoes that I didn't do the content with. But that's beside the point. I would have never gotten that opportunity because I was waiting to get somewhere. And so my message for a nano creator, nano influencer, or even somebody that's going into a new career, you can do it right where you are. You don't need anything else than what you already have. Know what it takes, know the field, like I told you, understand your why. Know that you have to research. Know that you're going to have to put out quality content. Know that you're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to show up. You're going to have to play the long game. You can't do it for a month and say, well, a brand didn't reach out to me. You may not even be able to do it for a year because what many of you may or may not know, when I started off as a nano influencer, I was in a year contract with my photographer. So I was paying this photographer money every month, sometimes money that I didn't have. And like I said, child, I'm a different type of person. I just believe on a different level. So don't think I'm endorsing, spending your last on the photo shoot. No. But that is what I did. That is what I did. And I did that way before I knew a 5-figure deal was coming. I'd had no brand deals. And I was okay with it because I'm like, one day this gonna make sense. I remember being on the phone with my papa in the morning and I would tell him, like, you think it's all vain. Like, you think I'm just doing this because I'm cute. I see something. I know something is coming. So I think you have to really believe and really see what the eyes can't see because there will be times people can't see it for you. More times than not, like I said, if you got less than 10,000 followers, people looking at your page like it really don't matter. And sometimes your own self-limiting beliefs are doing that same thing to your own self. So you kind of got to say, you know what? I'm going to see this thing out. I don't care if it takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I'm building something. I'm doing something. And if I'm the only person that see it, I'm enough. And as a influencer, I know there are a lot of societal norms. I know sometimes you could talk to a brand and it can be kind of discouraging because they'll be like, oh, you need 5K followers. Because that was what they used to always tell me when I first started out. Like, I needed 5K followers. And I just couldn't wait to get 5,000 followers. And it was just one of those things where if I let that deter me starting out, it would have definitely deterred me. But I didn't. I kept going. So don't let the numbers, don't let what people say, don't let your own self-limiting beliefs, if you know you want to see success in any space, whether that's nano-influencing, whether that's podcasting, regardless of what, if you have a trade that you're trying to learn, do it right where you are, and you'll be able to look back and be like, I'm so glad that I did. Because me looking back at my nano creator career, I'm so glad that I started the way I did because it gave me that, energy. It gave me that push to really keep going with quality because how you start does matter. I think a lot of people like to tell you, How you start, don't matter, because you can always fix it. You can always refine. Yes. But starting with intention, starting with quality does matter. It's how I'm able to work with brands on such a high level now. It's how I built my community to where I have built it from now. Because y'all be riding for me, and I appreciate that. But it's not been overnight. It's been because I said I'm not going to quit, and I don't care if I get one person that answers my DM or answers a poll on Instagram. It doesn't matter. I see success in this space, and I'm not going to stop until I see what I see. So like I said, I'm here still at 5,000 followers. I do not have the 100,000 followers yet, but even without that, I've seen much success, and I hope that this episode is really encouraging for somebody that's starting out in anything, but especially nano influencing, and you want to know, like, can I do it? The answer is you can. Thanks for watching.